Welcome to Convo Fango. Today we are getting hungry and we're feasting with Feed Me. We've got Neal and Christopher, Adam and Richard, co-directors, co-writers, producers, Richard and Adam. And we've got producer and star, Neal Ward, and star, Christopher Mulvin. That is a mouthful, guys, but I guess that's appropriate because we're talking about Feed Me, right?
Yeah.
All right, so kind of briefly tell us what this is about.
Feed Me is a story about a broken man suffering with the, not dealing very well with the recent loss of his wife, who somehow finds himself in the home of a deranged cannibal who convinces him to die in the most horrific way imaginable, I guess. Your standard average movie, yeah.
I like that he's a deranged cannibal. He's not like a reasonable kind of logical cannibal. He's the deranged kind of cannibal. We have two different camps of cannibals. I have to ask about the inspired by true events title card at the beginning, because what the fuck?
So it's a little while back, obviously, before we wrote it, Adam came up and went, have you heard that story about Armin Nee, the German guy who convinced someone to be eaten and willingly? And that was just such a bizarre thing that we were just like, that's such a great idea for a film that's so intriguing, and where we could go with that.
Is this too much of a hot take question to ask? You don't have to answer it if it is, but do you think that someone should be able to opt to be eaten if that's what they desire?
Well, I mean, I feel like the in some countries you've got the whole the euthanasia thing, which for some things I think it's kind of it's better sometimes for that thing in terms of people suffer with such cruel illnesses and stuff like that. However, that is a more humane way of ending one's life. Probably, but in terms of being eaten, I don't know. But the Armin story that it was like. It was really tough to bring to trial and stuff, because it was like a grey area, because the guy gave him permission. So right. I don't know, where's the line?
It's kind of those like, what do you do with that? Because like, yeah, euthanasia is like the humane version of that, but also I'm like, I mean, if that's what you're into and that's what you want to do, it's not really my thing, but like, I don't know if I can tell you that you can't do it.
Each to their own, right?
Right? But that guy's not around to have to deal with the aftermath. The one that's here to deal with the aftermath is the fucker who was doing the eating, right? So it's like, well, now you're frowned upon and shunned, but you did have permission to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last wishes, so, you can't.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, like, some people want their ashes sprinkled at the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. Some people are like, just eat me, don't let me go to waste. I don't know. Okay.
It's a tasteful way to die.
Yeah, right. Just make it into some gourmet cuisine, and then suddenly, like, oh, we're not as judgmental about it,
It's the next big taboo to get past.
Yeah. I love the little the amuse-bouche line when he first gets to it's just like, oh god, like it's coming, so it's just kind of like cringy, I get very squeamish about cannibalistic stuff and like losing limbs or fingers being chopped off, and you guys kind of you fucked us up with all of that, so thanks.
All of them.
Just all coming at me, and I was like, I'm very uncomfortable. Okay. So Neal and Christopher, what made you want to tell this deranged tale? Like, how did you guys get on board with this?
I think any actor on the planet, if they have this script given to them, if they don't say yes to it, then there's no point in doing it, because it was a dream come true. I know Richard Adam really well anyway, outside of the film, the film and the previous film we've done. And then when they said they were going to do this and came to me and said, would you be happy playing this guy? I kind of just looked at it, just literally did that. Just went, yeah, there's no way I can't not play this. It's a huge task, don't get me wrong. It's to get the layers and the levels of Lionel in there. It was tough, but nothing great. What's the word? Nothing great isn't easy, or something like that. Everything that's worth doing is hard. So you've got to put in that work and make sure it comes out how it does. And we sure as hell did that, all of the cast and crew. So yeah, it was a privilege to be a part of this, and I hope we did it justice. So it's up to the masses.
This is I'm having like a weird disconnect in my brain right now because I literally just watched you as Lionel and now you're here just like speaking lovely with not an American accent. Can you do the American accent for us?
I mean, if it depends, if you want me to do Lionel, I'll do Lionel for you. I'll do anything for you, Angel.
Well, thank you kindly. I appreciate that. And Christopher, what made you want to like I guess I won't give spoilers, but what made you want to sign on for this?
I mean, just like Neal said as well, because I know Neal, I've worked with him beforehand, and also Richard. I haven't worked with Adam just yet, but I'd seen everything that he'd done and I've fallen in love with it. And then as soon as they sent over the script, I was just blown away straight away. I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what I want to be part of as well. And also because of the crew as well themselves. And normally, most of the time, majority, I've done sort of comedic things as well. Me and Neal know, working together beforehand as well, in between sort of shots and stuff. What we've done, we're very like straight to voices, like stuff like this. We're very comedic sort of people. And then seeing this, I was like, oh, this is intriguing, and it was yeah, a real challenge for me myself as well. And but yeah, I absolutely loved it straight away. So that was my point of call for a horror segment as well, which I'd always wanted to do, and such a crazy batshit sort of story as well. So I just fell in love with it, and yeah, I wouldn't have said no straight away. I would have just gone, yes, please.
I feel like you both get to play a lot in this in very different ways. It's not just a cannibal story. It is a cannibal story, but Christopher, you get to kind of like just break the fuck apart, which I feel like when you get to just go to the extremes like that as an actor, that has to be appealing. Like you read a script and you're like, oh, this is gonna like really require me to like bring it. So I think that must be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. A whole element of like, oh my God, this is all going to be happening to me and stuff. And then also working with this kind of character as well. It was just, I was sold straight away. So yeah.
And then Lionel, you bring this like this dark, comedic, whimsical kind of vibe to this creepy dude.
I think it's when on paper it was extremely serious. You sort of read the black and white on the page and go, okay, so that's this is happening. A lot of the stuff I do previously is very unhinged characters and quite intense people, sort of your Tom Hardy-esque kind of things. So I went into this with the mindset of it being very serious, and the Southern accent being very, I'm saying it again, John Bernthal, Tommy Lee Jones, and the Josh Brolin. So coming with that sort of calm, cool, collective Texan kind of guy. And then it ended up being, after the first day of filming, it ended up being Foghorn Leghorn with Eugene and Beetlejuice, like just with the way that he was coming across. And I think it's always a testament to a script when you can layer a character so well, because he is doing these awful things. We have moments where it's very intense and the scene is going to a terrible place. But at the same time, if you can add an air of endearment to a character to make people like them, that's what people sort of tend to gravitate to these days. Like with the Dharma thing at the moment, is people are fascinated by him and how he did it in the Ted Bundy way of like being a fun person to be around, but then the horrificness comes through in the end. And it's just really fun to bounce that around and get it right, I hope. Because that's just, yeah, it's the best thing you can ever do, is you can layer the character like that with so many different avenues of comedy, seriousness, heartfelt, depression, things like that. It's great to play with.
I think that's what makes it scarier, because that's more realistic, and I think that makes it feel more vulnerable. Like maybe this is somebody that I would meet in a bar and talk to and not think. Like it's not like people don't walk around with like wearing a shirt that's like, hi, I'm a fucking serial killer, I'm gonna eat you. You know, it's just like, oh, this is a funny guy, he's like fun to talk to. And then you're like, oh shit, but there's this other layer to it. And that's the scary part, because it's like, this is someone you could bump into on the street and have no idea of like what's actually going on. And that's terrifying, or at least for me, that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Adam and Richard, did you have like, at what point did you want to bring that kind of whimsical tone in? Like, did you see this as just like completely serious, or did you want to layer that in? Or is it like when you're watching that performance, you're like, yes, more of that?
I think we there's a point, there was kind of a definite point, like the initial draft of the story just roughly was quite serious, and we wanted to tell those serious tones and get across the, you know, the heart of the story. But we just love comedy, and we have like our own type of comedy, whether, you know, love or hate, we kind of vibe on the same thing. We started going, right, let's make it a bit more silly here and a bit more silly there, and like, and then it was like, right, what about this idea? And we were just like, we can't do that. Like, the audience aren't going to vibe with that. And we were like, yeah, but sod them, this is our movie. Kind of, not to kind of alienate people, but we're like, we're not making the film that we want to make, like truly, then what's the point? Like, we've got the opportunity to make the film that we want to make, and it just became more and more crazy as we kind of added this stuff in. You know?
Yeah, it was like fleshing out that story together was basically a journey of us kind of coming to terms with who we are as a filmmaker duo. It was, you know, like we have this very serious undertone that we want to tell because we feel it's important, and that touches up on the whole mental health side of things and stuff that is very real and relatable. But by the end of it, you know, we had found a way to accept and be totally comfortable with putting our personality in that, and that personality is what a lot of people share. It's ridiculous humor. You know, people laugh at uncomfortable things. People laugh at things you shouldn't laugh at, and that's just. And we were like, well, let's make something for us, man, and we did it. And these guys and the rest of the cast, Hannah Al-Rashid, Samantha Loxley, Nadia Lamin, Anto Sharp, the rest of the guys, like they nailed it, man. Like they really brought that script to life, and they understood our stupid humor as well as the serious undertone, and we couldn't ask for a better cast, you know. So yeah,
That's the kind of stuff that makes it work, though. That's the kind of thing where it's like you're like, no, fuck it, we're just gonna make it for ourselves. This is the movie that we want to see, or the movie that we want to make. That's the stuff that resonates when you're sitting in like a midnight screening at a film festival and people are just losing their goddamn minds. It's because you decided to do that. When you don't go to that, like to that point, it doesn't register the same way, like 100%.
it's real, you know, real.
Yeah. Have you guys gotten to watch this with an audience yet?
Tonight, it's our world premiere tonight.
Tonight, is it for Beyond Fest?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. I'm so excited for you guys. What are you feeling right now?
Nervous. Yeah. It doesn't resonate.
You're like, well, I wasn't thinking about it. I'm like, no, let's bring it back and refocus on the nervous energy. What do you eat for dinner when you're feeling nervous about watching your cannibal movie with a like, do you go vegetarian? You go heavy on the meats?
Straight for the steak.
Just straight on steak.
I've had steak every morning whilst I've been out here, just because like it's so much better than the steak in England. So.
Yeah. Welcome to California. We got good steaks.
Oh, great.
All of you guys are like, oh yeah, yeah.
Thinking about one now. I'm gonna have later before the film premiere.
You do a little steak before, and then a celebratory steak after. Steak sandwiches.
Yeah, in my pocket.
Yeah.
There's a good human steakhouse somewhere that we can find.
Yeah. I won't tell you what. I won't give you the address on the record, but when we're done recording, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
And that's an American thing. We actually take our little pocket steaks into the movie theater. So if you don't do that, it's like rude. So make sure you have your pocket steaks.
A photo of me with a piece of steak in the cinema tonight, and I'll send it you.
Okay. As you're just gnawing on it with like some horrific scene on the.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure everyone around you will feel very comfortable with that. Can you guys tell us a little bit about the effects? There's a lot of practical effects. I made the mistake of eating while I was watching, and I had to stop. So a testament to you.
The practical effects. So the most of the stuff is real. You know, we went to the one particular scene. I won't give too many spoilers away. I'll just say the arm scene. That was. We went in the middle of the night. We went to this famous meat market in London that opens at midnight and closes at 7 a.m. I think. So it was about 2 a.m. Went there and bought this huge pig shoulder, and I went up to the guy and I was like, "How much is this going to?" Obviously, we haven't got all the money in the world. I was like, "How much is this going to cost?" And he was like, £26. Like, what? That's amazing. Give me two of those. You know, so there was a lot of real meat, and we tried our very, very best to keep everything as practical as possible in terms of real and very minimal CGI, because we're both on the same page that you can always tell when it comes to CGI, like it's always better to do things as real as you can, and when you can't, then implement CGI. And luckily this guy is an absolute CGI master. You know, Rich does all the visual effects and everything as well. So
Oh shit. All right.
it's brilliant.
Not really.
Yeah.
Well, it comes across as very real and disgusting and disturbing. Like I said, I was like, I'm gonna like I wanted to like maybe like spit my bite out, and I was like, I'm gonna finish that one, and maybe like we'll finish eating tomorrow.
It's a good weight loss movie. So
It is, yeah. This is gonna be one of those ones that they show to be like make people go like vegan or something. It's like, yeah, just watch this and you'll be vegan for the rest of the month. I think we have time for one last question. Actually, we'll do two. Give me your favorite cannibal movie aside from Feed Me.
Oh, Silence of the Lambs is probably up there, but I've got to say, you know, like the new Dharma series is fucking phenomenal. Really, like that's probably one of my favorite things now. Like it's just done so well, so fucking well. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say the Dharma as well. Literally,
Yeah.
that first episode, just the intensity where you're like, oh my God, this poor guy, everything going on. And then the element as well of just like, okay, almost got caught. No, it's all right. Yeah, I was going to say that one as well. It is incredible. Yeah.
All right, 2 votes for Dahmer.
Alive is my favorite.
Oh,
You stole it out of my mouth. Yeah, I was gonna say Alive. Yeah.
that butt jerky. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 for Alive and 2 for Dahmer. We're tied. Yeah. Okay. We'll go with that. And my last question, I think, is the question on everyone's mind. Were any fish harmed in the making of this movie?
Zero.
0 fish. We love to hear it. That's what we like to hear.
They were staying with us in our accommodation, so they had better conditions than us. They had a full massive tank. They had, one of them was quite a diva and always wanted to be used, so swimming to the surface. But, so yeah, there was 4, wasn't there? And I think they had names. I can't remember what Sam had named them, but they had some names. I think, did they?
Yeah, I think they did as well, because it was like goodness, because we were literally just going on the start right there, and then 1, 2, 3. Like, they're not really used too much, but start, come on up. But
I think it was like Bermuda 1, Bermuda 2, and
that was it.
just down Bermuda 1 and 2. But they were well looked after, and
You guys put a lot of thought into the names of the fish, clearly.
Well, they kept us up at night because the tank was so loud. There was me and Chris in a room on set. We wanted to stay on set, so they stayed on set as well. We just looked after them and fed them. But yeah, the tank's just going.
That's why you didn't give them real names. You're like, fuck these fish. They're interrupting my beauty sleep. Or like...
Yeah, and they crap everywhere in that tank. Yeah. Everywhere. You're just swimming around everywhere.
just entangled in it. Just swimming around. Oh my God.
Absolute divas. Absolute divas, fish. Ridiculous.
I know.
I don't know if they're gonna get a lot of calls after this interview. I don't know if anyone's gonna want to work with those fish. All right. Thank you guys so much. Congratulations, and break a leg tonight. I'm very excited for you. Don't forget your pocket steaks, and best of luck. Feed Me is also on digital and on demand.